Do you want to be unstoppable? Do you want to achieve success? Of course you do. What is the one thing that if you had it will get you through all the difficulties and even get you to do the things that you are not crazy about doing? Want to know? Stay tuned and find out.
Being an entrepreneur sounds like, yes, another new client. I did it. But it can also sound like, I am really not understanding this technology, and I'm feeling so overwhelmed. Am I even cut out for this? That's why I started the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast, to help infopreneurs, coaches, and course creators who want to build a business online, but are battling technology, overwhelm, procrastination, and even imposter syndrome. Think successfully, think differently, think bigger, and take action by learning tips from an array of business owners, all dropping knowledge on the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast. Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
What is up? What is up? What the hell is up, my Dark Horse friends and family? Welcome back to another dose of From the Ground Up Learning. I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and I have been in the coaching, course creation, and online space since the 90s, so got a little experience under my belt, and yet here I am, still learning. And that's what I'm here. I'm here to share with you what I have learned and what I'm still learning about course creation, coaching, marketing, entrepreneurship, and infopreneurship, which begs the question, who are you? And to me, my friend, that is infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur, more specifically, an infopreneur with or seeking perhaps a coaching and online course model in your business, or you're hoping to have that very, very soon. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business tips and results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that's why I'm here hitting you with another solo success episode coming to you straight from the Dark Horse HQ as we dive deep into your infopreneur coaching and course creation success with actionable advice, tips, and steps designed to help you level up your game. Why? Well, because we know there are no shortcuts to success except for taking those little steps toward your goal every single day. Now, today I want to share with you a little story about a young lady who in less than a year, this entrepreneur turned her idea into a multi-million-dollar business all through cold calling. Wait, don't hit that fast forward button yet because you're going to want to stick around and listen to this. There's some subtle under the cover lessons going on here. Now, it's really a multi-million pound business, but I'm in the United States, so I'm going to call it multi-million-dollar plus, pounds are worth just a little less than an equal amount of dollars, so I can say multi-million-dollar and still be telling the truth. This is a case study that while cold calling is really nobody's, and I say nobody's, favorite way to get business, there are times when it's truly the best way to do it, right? This was a gal that she started a small niche financial services company, and she was really struggling to onboard clients, right? She had created her sales funnel, created her website, invested in SEO, and spent money on targeted advertising. Now, after a period of time and burning through about 2,500 pounds, which is just under $3,000, you know what she had to show for it? Crickets, right? She had not onboarded a single customer. This is when she turned to cold calling. Yep, you heard me. I said it again, cold calling. Perhaps the scariest phrase we all have heard as an entrepreneur, right? In the history of business, cold calling. Now, as I share with you this story, please think about the one word that sums up everything she did as I tell this story. And at the end, before I wrap up this podcast, I want to see if the word you think of and the word I came up with is the same word that is churning through your head as well as mine as I share this story, right? Now, what's going through her head? All right, what did she have? Here's what she did to build her multi-million-dollar business, and that was a B2B business, and she did it in a single year. Here we go. She found all the public information and she used that information to set up the parameters of who her ideal client would be. And she did this in the terms of how many people would be working for them, what their current turnover rate would be, and what industries they were operating in. Now, she's based in the UK, obviously. It's like, that's kind of duh, Tracy. You said pounds. I assume she's in the UK. So over there, it's a little easier to do. In other countries, you might have to dig a little deeper. You might even have to pay for it. But the odds are that this info is still, I'll use the phrase easily, right? You might have to go through a little effort, but it's accessible to you. All right. And then she found a scraper to pick up every single company in her area in the UK that matched the criteria that she set out. Every single one, right? Then she employed someone to find the generic contact details for the first 10,000 companies on the list. Yeah, you heard me. 10,000 companies. Generic, what I mean by generic is she simply went out there and had them find the phone number and the email address, which was probably quite, honestly, the front desk, instead of trying to seek out the extension for any particular VP or head of marketing, or of accounting in her case. Then she set a goal. She had those first 10,000 companies. She had some phone numbers. She had some email addresses. She sat down and made a goal. Her goal was for every 100 calls she made, she would get 10 people into a meeting and get one person converted to be a paying customer. What'd she do next? Well, obviously, she started making phone calls. She started that dreaded cold calling process. Now, I don't know about you, but those 4 words, starting cold calling, those are 3 words. She started cold calling. Those are 4 words. Send a little icy shiver down your spine, right? It's, right? Well, she started cold calling. And here's the kicker of this. She had zero, nix, nada, no cold calling training, other than, maybe she did go out there and watch some YouTube. So it wasn't like she was this master Grant Cardone and, kind of sell guy or gal. In the first week, she blew 80% of the calls. Wah, 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 right? I didn't do the sound effect, but that's fine. She made a lot of mistakes. Right? We all would, right? Had no training, like I said. But the other 20%, they were starting to take shape. They were starting to perform because she was learning from the mistakes that she made. She got 6 appointments booked. Now, only one of them showed up, and that one didn't buy. So here's the question. What would you have done at this point? Would you have given up? Heck no, right? You're a dark horse. You're going to strive forward. You're going to keep on pushing on, keeping on. Now, she learned that instead, from the calls, right? Remember, I said 80%, she kind of blew chunks, 20%, they started to perform. What she learned during that, it was things like, instead of saying, we can do this, and we can do that, and we can do this, and we can do that, listing all the benefits and prospects, which was really doing nothing except boring their prospects to death. She started to ask questions. Hey, I'm so-and-so from, she would insert her company name here. And I was wanting to find out how you're coping with, and then she would insert what the current financial problem that was going on in her marketplace. Now, mind you, she'd paid attention to what was going on, their turn rates, right? How many people they were employing, right? And the industries. So it'd be easy for her and to know from a financial perspective, because that's her industry, what those industries are going through. So she could ask that question. Asking these questions led to conversations of their needs, which of course led to how she could help them. She would solve 1 or 2 small problems quickly while they were on the phone, and then suggested that they book an appointment to really dig in and get to the heart of the matter. Now, she says that you don't want to make your outreach, these cold calls, a sales pitch. You don't get in there as you're saying, hey, here's all the great, amazing things we can do for you. Click. No. She continued on and continued to learn from her mistakes. And at the end of the first month, she finally got her first paying client. How many calls did she make, you might ask? 2,000. 2,000 calls, 1 month, and finally, one paying customer. Now, here's the thing. She shares that what was more valuable than that paying customer, well, the skills that she learned and the confidence that she built in her abilities to service those customers, to have those good conversations on those cold calls. She continued with her calling, and her stats continued to improve. By the 5th month, I know, I get it, 5 months, crazy, you're crazy. By the 5th month, she was starting to reach her goal of the onboarding, 25 to 30 customers per month. Now, here's where a lot of you entrepreneurs lose it. I don't have that kind of time. I can't wait 5 months. Dude, 5 months are going to go by one way or the other. You can improve the skills that you need to reach this kind of goal of onboarding 25 to 30 customers per month by getting in, getting dirty, and doing the grunt work. Or you could just not. See, at this point, she was starting to employ people to do the work for her. Now, she has sales agents working the spreadsheet and making 100 calls a day. At least 3 salespeople. And then I think she's got 3 salespeople handling the appointments. Now, for every 100 calls that those salespeople make, 12 people come to an appointment and 2 companies signed up. In less than a year, she has turned her idea, just an idea, off in the ether, right? She's turned this idea into a multi-million-pound business that is onboarding nearly 100 clients a month. So, what was her big takeaway? Well, her big takeaway is not to believe in the bullshit. I'm just going to say it like I got to say it, not BS. Her takeaway was not to believe the bullshit when people tell you that you have to build your business a certain way. Now, mind you, I'm sitting here telling you you have to build your business a certain way. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying here's a way someone else has done it. So if someone's out there telling you, you have to do it with a funnel, and you have to do it with this, and you have to do it with that, it's bullshit. There are multiple ways you can do it. And if you strategize correctly, you can build an extremely successful business without spending a fortune to get your customers. If you're willing to do the things you're currently not willing to do, like cold calling, right? Maybe the best thing about cold calling is the instant feedback that you get, right? You get on the phone with someone, you start sharing your information, you start asking the questions, you can refine your message as you go, you can test your value proposition that you have come with, and you can test your call to action until you sharpen it and polish it and hone it to a razor's edge, becoming this lean, mean selling machine. Also, here's another cool thing. You get to test buyer trends live with people on the phone. You get to find the benefit and the stories that are connecting with the people that are out there looking for your solution. And you get to do it right now. Not 3 months from now, not 10 months from now. You're on the phone with them. You can talk to them. And oh yes, remember that word that best sums up all of her efforts? What was the word you came up with as she persevered through everything? That was the word I came up with. She just got in there and just, oh my God, grunted it out. Perseverance. And here's the thing. If you can persevere through all the difficulties and do the things that you are not crazy about doing right now, then there is absolutely nothing stopping you from succeeding. You will become unstoppable. You will achieve whatever level of success you desire, right? Because you will then deserve it. It is the one thing that will get you through all the difficulties. It is the one thing that will get you to do the things you're not crazy about doing. Maybe it's cold calling. I don't know. Maybe it's writing a sales page. I don't know. Maybe it's sending emails. What? Sending emails? There are people out there that are afraid to send emails. because they don't want to be judged. Well, they're not being judged because they're not sending anything out. You know what else is not happening? They're not making any sales. They're not helping anybody. They're stealing from you and me by not getting their information out there. So stop stealing from yourself and from those that you can help. If you need to learn to cold call, learn to cold call. Get out there and find someone that's good at doing it. Don't call me about that one. I'm not great at cold calling. I'm happy to get on a conversation, but it's one of those things that I struggle to do with. So that's how I learned about this young lady and her amazing story of success. And as I was reading through it, it was perseverance. She stuck it out. I mean, she stuck it out from the very beginning when she was creating that targeted advertising, driving people through a sales funnel, and saw nothing. So rather than giving up, throwing her hands up in the air and saying, all right, well, that doesn't work, she figured out another way to do it. And she thought of cold calling, or maybe she did the research. Right? I didn't catch that part of the story. And then she grunted it out. It took her a month to get that first customer. And she continued to grunt it out. She continued to persevere. Next thing you know, she's flipping 25 to 30 customers per month to the point where she hires people to do it for her now so that she can get out there and do what she's great at, which is delivering those financial results to those customers. So take a second now and ask yourself, what is that magic you have inside you that you're holding back? You're keeping from those that you can benefit. Or maybe you already know what that magic is, right? That's why you're here listening to this podcast. You're trying to figure out how you can get more people to you. Then I'll ask you this question. What is the one thing you haven't tried? You're afraid to try. You're like, I can't do that. There's just no way. Get out there and try it. I want you to get out there and try that one thing you have yet tried simply because of fear. Well, I can't pick up the phone and just call people. Yeah, you can. You can. It's really easy. You put your hand out, you pick up the phone, you dial the number, you put it to your ear, and you start talking. It's just that easy, right? Now, yeah, will you hose up? Will you stumble? Will you bumble? Will you fall? Will you face plant? Heck yeah. Who cares? But you will learn, right? It's not failure. It's feedback. And with that feedback, you get new data. And with new data, you can improve your message. You can improve what it is you say. Just like the young lady with her accounting business. Right? First 80% of her calls, first few hundred calls she made, 80% of them sucked. Right? But then she learned from those. And the next 20%, she started getting meetings. Only one showed up. But then she started learning more. I need to stop talking like this and talking like that. Okay? You can go through that same thing. In whatever it is, it doesn't have to be cold calling. It could be whatever venture you're going out on. It could be email. It could be your sales funnel. It could be your website. It could be your podcast. It can be your course. But to do any of them, for any of them to ever be a success, you're going to have to fall. You're going to have to stumble. You're going to have to bumble. You're going to have to face plant. And if you don't do any of those, you're going to have to risk stumbling, bumbling, falling, and face planting. If you're not willing to risk the biscuit, you're not going to get the success. All right? So I want to leave you with this week. Whew, man, it's been a pretty busy week. I'm just trying to drop what I can with you here. So if you're getting any value from this, let me know. And the best way to let me know is make sure you go down there and subscribe. Drop us a rating. Leave us some kind words in the reviews. It lets me know that, Tracy, thank you. I appreciate what you said in that podcast episode or on your podcast whatsoever. But more importantly, it lets those podcast platforms out there know that you're getting value from an episode, from a podcast. And what they do is they turn around and they give us a little lift in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like you. So please take a moment, show the love, and help spread the word. In the meantime, you get out there, you run your race, you get your results, and let me hear about them. Seriously. Tracy@darkhorseschooling.com. That's my email, right? Tell me what tip or idea you came away with, how you put it into action, and what results you got back from it. Heck, who knows? Probably even bring on a show and let you share your story. Maybe you built a multi-million-pound business in a year. Until next time, think successfully and take action. Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.